Well, it is finally time that I have seen Hard Eyes. Now, this movie came out 10 days ago, I'm pretty sure. No, wait. Well, by the time I upload this video, it would have been 10 days, but as I'm recording this video, it is the 15th of February, so it has been 8 days since this movie came out. And originally, I wasn't planning on seeing this movie. I was kind of just like, okay, because I did watch the trailers for it, and I was like, okay, that's a movie that exists, I guess. But then there were reviews coming out about this movie that were saying like, oh, this movie's actually pretty good. This movie's decent. It's not, terrible. And I was like, oh, alrighty then. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to see Captain America: Brave New World on the 14th. So I guess I might as well go see this movie too. So that is what I ended up doing. I watched Hard Eyes first, and then I watched Captain America: Brave New World after. And I've already uploaded my Captain America: Brave New World review by the time you're watching this video. So yeah, you guys can go ahead and check out that review after you're done with this one if you haven't seen my Captain America review first. But getting back to Hard Eyes, I didn't actually think this movie was all that bad. In fact, it was quite better than I was expecting, although it did kind of have that formula of like a typical slasher movie where you have the slasher going around killing people for his reasons, and then we get to the killer reveal, and then they defeat the killer just to psych JK the killer is still alive, and then they fight off the killers, and then they kill them. Like once they reveal themselves, they kill them, and then psych JK they come back to life for like 5 seconds, just to die again. Yeah, because that was kind of a thing they did in Scream 5, I'm pretty sure, where they killed the Ghostface killer, and then she like comes back for like comes like charging towards them, and then they just shoot her and she's dead. Kind of the same thing here in this movie, where the Hard Eyes killer, I was gonna say Ghostface killer, but the Hard Eyes killer is like running towards them or like crawling towards them, and then they shoot him with like his weapon, and he dies. So, yeah. But, anyways, like I said, I didn't think this movie was all that bad because I was kind of just going into this movie with low expectations. So maybe that's why I didn't think this movie was all that bad. It has one of the guys from Scream 5 and 6, Mason Gooding, and then it has Olivia Holt, who I know from Disney Channel. Two completely different sides of like entertainment. You got horror movies, and then you got Disney Channel, and that is how I know those two actors from. And so yeah, it's weird pairing, but they do actually have pretty good chemistry together, and I do think that they worked out well together in that movie. And for the killer reveal, it didn't really end up who I was expecting it to be, because it actually surprised me that there were two Hard Eyes killers. Yes, that is right, there is not just one Hard Eyes killer. There are two, just like there is in the Scream movies. There's usually always two, except for in Scream 3, there was only the one guy. But yeah, there are two Hard Eyes killers in this movie, and they are a couple. What are the odds? Everyone's making jokes about how the Hard Eyes killer is like a virgin, or how he's like, single and is just angry at couples. That is the exact opposite. It is a guy and a girl who are dating and are in love, and they are absolutely crazy because they get turned on killing couples on Valentine's Day. What a plot! What a plot! But yeah, the kills in this movie were pretty solid. There weren't a whole lot of them. There was just the two in the opening scene, which I guess three technically, because there's this couple that's like proposing on Valentine's Day, and then there's their photographer who dies as well. So there's three of those guys in the beginning, and then there's just a bunch of one-off deaths in throughout the movie. There's like an officer in like this police department who just ends up dying, and there's another like what's the word, interrogator, yeah, that would be the word. He ends up dying, and I actually kind of thought that he would be the Hard Eyes killer because they think that they catch the Hard Eyes killer, which is Mason Gooding, because they find his mask at like this park, and he is there, and they're like, oh, we caught him, and so they go to investigate him. And then the male interrogator, because there's the male interrogator and then there's the female interrogator, and the female interrogator ends up being one of the Hard Eyes killers. And then there's a male interrogator who's just this completely random dude who does actually show up at one point at the police department because he, like, I think hits on the female protagonist whose name I don't remember. That is how forgettable the name of the female character is because I don't remember her name. I think it's Ellie? Maybe? I remember the Mason Gooding's character's name is Jay, but I don't remember Olivia Holt's character. Yeah, there's this one guy at the police department who, like, flirts with Olivia Holt, and then she's like, I was almost murdered, my guy. And then he's like, oh, okay, so he leaves. But it turns out that he is the Hard Eyes killer, or at least the male Hard Eyes killer, later on down the line. I wasn't actually expecting that. I kind of thought he was just like some random character. And then I was like, oh, he's the Hard Eyes killer, because I thought it would be the male interrogator who would be the male Hard Eyes killer, but that was not the case. So, yeah, they are revealed because they think that they killed the Hard Eyes killer because he shows up at like this drive-in theater at like this park. He shows up there and they kill him, and it's just some random dude who ends up being like this fan of the Hard Eyes killers. So they just kind of had him go to the park, I guess, to kill people. Okay. So yeah, he ends up dying, and they're like, oh, we stopped the Hard Eyes killer, but nope, psych, JK, because the female interrogator, whose name was Shaw, I'm pretty sure, because they make this like Hobbs and Shaw joke where one of them's name is Hobbs and one of them is Shaw. I think the female one was Shaw and the male one was Hobbs. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember for sure. But yeah, she is like, or Jay has to leave for the airport after they kill the Hard Eyes killer. And so the female interrogator is like, oh, I'll drive you to the airport. But she actually drives him to like this chapel and like ties him up and like makes Olivia Holt go to the chapel to like confess her love to him, I guess. And she also makes him either shoot him or herself. And she ends up shooting him, but she like shoots him so that it shoots him and the female interrogator, whose name is Shaw, I'm pretty sure. She like aims it at Jay and then shoots it, but like doesn't aim it directly at him. Aims to like the side of him so that it hits him, but it also hits Shaw as well. But yeah, the male Hard Eyes killer ends up dying with like this Cupid arrow that I think it was Mason Gooding Jay. He like throws it at or like stabs him with the Cupid arrow, and he ends up dying. And then Olivia Holt's character like pushes Shaw onto like the sword of like a statue, and she dies. And then Jay comes, or not Jay, the male Hard Eyes killer comes back to life for like 5 seconds, starts crawling towards him, and then Jay grabs the Cupid or like the bow and arrow thingy and shoots him, and he's dead. So that was pretty anticlimactic ending, and that's the end of the movie. There's a post-credit scene that kind of teases maybe a sequel. I don't know. It's kind of vague because it's just her friend who's like pranking them or something. And I kind of thought her friend was gonna die, to be honest, because she was talking to Olivia Holt's character on the car on the phone, and I was like, is the Hard Eyes killer gonna attack her in the car? But that didn't end up happening, and her friend survived. So I was like, oh, alrighty. So yeah, it's not the worst movie that I've ever seen. There's definitely been worse movies like Madam Web. That movie was just trash. But yeah, this movie, not the worst movie that I've ever seen. So I can give it that. If I had to rate it, maybe like a 4.5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Pretty average, but that is going to wrap it up for this review. We are only 23 subscribers away from 600. We are 577. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Let me know if you have gotten around to seeing Hard Eyes yet. And if you haven't, well, I've already told you what happens in it, so now you don't have to. Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm not sure what the next video will be. Like I mentioned in the Captain America video, probably my Spider-Man or your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man review. That's probably what's going to be next. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.